Hey, what's going on YouTube? Hope everyone is being safe out there. Wish everyone a happy holiday season. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the H22 here. I did get the head off, as you can see. As I promised, I got the head off. I just want to start with one thing, that I made a mistake. I didn't have to take the this bolt out of the upper mount here. It wasn't even connected to the head, so I could have left that in there and saved myself about 2 or 3 minutes of work. But so I want to apologize for that. You guys don't have to take that out. Going back to the head, like I said, I disconnected the exhaust header, the throttle cable here. It doesn't look like there was only one throttle cable, so this car probably doesn't have cruise control. Maybe it was already deleted, I don't know. So we took that off. Took off the main fuel line, and that was pretty much it. No, plus all the other stuff I mentioned in an earlier video. And the head came off with the intake. Some of these wires down here is a little goofy, like this one here. I labeled this one VTEC, right? For some reason it has like a little blue wire here too that was already disconnected, but on this harness, back of this harness, it's only one plug, so maybe this right here wasn't needed. Again, I'm going to have to get a wire diagram for this car, make sure everything's hooked up correctly. Now looking at the pistons here, everything looked okay. Again, previous owner told me engine was recently rebuilt. Once I got it open, it looks like that was true. I don't see any marks or anything on the cylinder walls or damage from the valves on top of the pistons or anything. So looked like I looked up with this one so far. So it looks like I'll just replace the valves, put it back on, and see what happens. But that was a pretty straightforward process. This car has an external coil too. I gotta remember that. The coil is not part of the distributor. So let's take a look at some of the parts I took off. Okay, like most car guys, I cleaned up the inside just to throw parts back in here again, right? So these guys here are the I guess cam caps, or whatever you call it. I'm trying to keep them in order. They're probably hard to mix up, but you know, I'm not that smart, so I just try to keep them in order. I numbered them too, but you know, who knows if that's gonna last. Here is the these are the head bolts. I kept them in order. Maybe I should buy new ones, but you know I'm not, so I just want to throw those back in. That's the valve cover here. Move that out the way. Down here are these things and a bunch of bolts and screws. I don't know what those long things are called, but they go on top of the cams. And then over here is the head itself. I think the head's in pretty good condition. Gotta take the valves out of there. And I was thinking about with the intake, once I take it off, I wonder if I should, you know, do that mod where, like, I think make the butterflies, not the actual butterfly, but I guess like the intake holes with butterflies, make it bigger or something. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I just leave it alone. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But the head looked pretty good. Now these heads look a little different than the one in the Volvo. I did it's like a 2005 Volvo X660 that I did the heads on. These look like there's like little bolts or something on top of the valves. I got to do some research on that, figure out how to get that off. Because with the Volvo, I just use like a spring compressor, and I compressed the spring, and it revealed the keepers, and I moved the keepers, and everything came apart. This right here looks like it had little bolts on there. I wonder if I got to take those out before I be able to get the valves, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. No problem. So let's take a look at the cams real quick. And here are the cams. The cams don't look bad. They didn't have any marks or anything on them. or anything like that. I did mark the exhaust cam. I put all these lines and everything on it, as you can see, just to make sure this is the exhaust cam. I wouldn't mix it up between the two. Probably you can't mix them up, but you know, like I said, I'm not that smart. Anything can happen. Yeah, the engine's torn apart. Let's get this intake off and figure out how to do these valves. I think I bought like a little tool from eBay a while back to do the valves, but then I had like the bigger tool. Like I said, I'm using a Volvo. I don't know if I can use that tool on this or not, but we'll find out. So I'll give you guys an update in a little bit. Okay, intake manifold is off. Gaskets look like they could be used again. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good inside here too. Well, for what I can see, I'll probably get a better light on it though, but just to give you guys a little shot here of what I'm working with. I think the head is in good shape. The gasket is down here. It's been some kind of metal gasket. Not sure if I can use this again. I do have a new gasket. I probably just put that on because I don't want to do anything stupid, but looks good. Valves look good. They're closed, but they look good. Alright, let's keep going. Alright guys, I apologize ahead of time for the poor lighting in my garage here, but I just want to give you a quick look for the setup of the tool. As you see, the tool that I bought from eBay bolts on to the top of the head using these holes. These, I guess they're for the cam cover or whatever. Or the cam, yeah, the covers that cover the cams. You use those holes, and these are two 14mm bolts. And then you lock down the tool on the head. Then the kit, let me set my flashlight down. The kit comes with a long 17mm bolt, okay? And what it does is that it presses, oh, sorry about that. What it does is that it presses down on this other tool that comes with the kit. Let me blow this up so you can see it. See inside there, there's like a little, it sits right on top of the valve. Okay, this little part is also part of the toolkit. You set that on top of the valve, right? Sit it on top of the valve, and then when you screw down the 17mm bolt, it goes into the little divot on top of the tool. Alright, so right there, it's getting tight. So now what you do is that you screw down, pushing that little cylinder tool with the opening, you push that down. Then as you can see there, the keeper's on top. That's where you get your magnet and you take out the keeper. Then you will loosen the tool and the valve should come out. Then when you do the valve that's to the right, you take out the 17mm bolt, put it in that empty hole, screw that down, then you push that down and take that out. See, at first I was going to do all the intake valves at first, but then I thought about it. I said, now if I do that, I got to keep bolting down and unloosening this tool. So I'm just going to do one, I guess say, intake chamber or one intake cylinder at a time. So that's the tool. Looks like it's going to work. I didn't use it yet, but yeah, this looks pretty straightforward. Again, I'm trying to get in here so you guys can see what I'm looking at there, but yeah, see if we can get this out of here real quick, and then we'll start putting the good valves in. Okay, those two intake valves, I loosened them on the other side with the tool like I showed you, and then I flipped the head over, and on this side I pulled them out. I use a magnet or my fingernail. This look a little stuck, but I pulled them out, and here are the two valves here, the two intake valves. Remember earlier I said it's hard to get the exhaust and the intake valve mixed up because they're different sizes. Well, here's the old intake valve, and it's the new exhaust valve. You can see The exhaust valve is much smaller, so don't be afraid. You're not going to mix these guys up between the intake and the exhaust valve. All right. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to use the tool I showed you earlier, the valve lapper tool, which is this thing here. You're going to use the valve lapper tool and the compound. We're going to use that compound. Where did I put that at? Okay. I'll find it in a second. Hold on. Okay, before I end this video, I almost forgot to mention the keepers. This is the little parts that I want to show you guys that I promise, so you get the focus. These are the keepers. These are the little locks or little clamps that go on the tip of the valve stem. Okay, so once you pull these guys out, then you'll be able to remove the valve stem. So you got the tool up on top, pushes down this device. It pushes down on, I guess this is a valve stem cap. I don't know what they call that. Could be a retainer, who knows. Got your dual valve spring. So that screw pushes down on this. With that pressure, it allows you to use a magnet, right, to pull out these keepers. Alright, then when you raise up the tool, you'll be able to pull out the retainer and the springs. Okay, then you'll see the top of the valve. You can push the valve out. Then, as we said before, use your compound around the seat of the valve. Move it back and forth with the valve lapping tool. Make sure it's nice and smooth. The valve will go back in. The springs and the retainer will sit back on top of the valve. The valve will be sticking through this hole here. Use the tool. Push the spring down. Compress the spring. Then you'll use like a pick or something with the retainers. Alright, put them back in place. Then release the tool, and it should, when it's decompressed, the spring should come up and connect back onto the retainers. I'm sorry, the little keepers here. And this is pretty straightforward. Down in here, sorry, probably can't see. I don't have a light to show you down in there. See, on this side here, I finished this one. This is back into place. And on the other side here, you can see the top of the valve. That's the new valve that I put in. So I just got to put that back together. Alright, so when I come back with the next video, all the new intake and exhaust valve should be in. Then we're going to put the intake manifold back on the back side here. Put the intake manifold back on. See if we can get this head back on the block. I have this old gasket here. Again, I don't know if I want to use this old gasket. Doesn't look like it has much use on it, but I have a new gasket anyway. This is like a metal one here. I'm probably better off using this one, but I got a cheap gasket. I'll use that one. Okay. Talk to you guys soon.